Up next is the that YouTuber question that you had me save over from last week. So it's from Your Solo Squad is the YouTube user.
All right.
As a DK main, I would like to know, what does the future hold for the Knights of the Ebon Blade? Will they ever take center stage? Will the DKs go rogue and restart the Scourge, or take over?
I don't see the DKs taking over the Scourge. Just because it's not really something that they can do. A single DK would have the ability to control maybe a single Scourge. If pressed, might be able to do 2 or 3 at a time. A very powerful DK might be able to control, let's say, 10, maybe 20, if he's lucky. And this is all based on the canonical aspects of the class, right? So your Unholy DK is able to summon an army of Scourge, and it's what, I think 10? 10 Scourge that he summons. So it takes an incredible amount of power to control the Scourge. Now, the way the Lich King, or Arthas, was able to do this was with the help of Frostmourne, as well as the Helm of Domination. Or really, this was mostly the Helm of Domination. It was thanks to the power of Zuval that he was able to dominate as many Scourge as he did. So there's not enough DKs in the world to actually control the Scourge. No, the way we're going to deal with the Scourge, if we're going to deal with the Scourge, because Blizzard have a nasty habit of just sort of forgetting certain storylines, and I'm afraid this might be one of those storylines that just gets completely forgotten. But the way I think this should be dealt with is just slaughter. It's easy enough to do, since there is no more Lich King, and there is no more Zuval. The Scourge would be pretty mindless. Never forget that the Scourge is mindless. The Scourge does not have a mind of their own, which is one of the things that have always sort of triggered me about Blizzard's There Must Always Be a Lich King. Because the Lich King controls the mindless Scourge. The mindless Scourge is an extension of the Lich King. Without a Lich King, the Scourge would basically be zombies. They would be walking around looking for food. The only place where zombies are scary is in movies and series, because the people are stupid. It's the same people that run away and then keep looking behind them until they trip. And then the walking zombies catch them, because apparently after falling, they can't get back up, brush themselves off, and then just walk away from the walking zombies. Zombies in real life would not be scary, right? And so players would probably be able to take care of the Scourge relatively easily, because all you have to do is lay a couple of traps on, in Northrend, and the Scourge would come because they want to eat, and since there's food, they're going to come. And then you just slaughter all of them. I think that would be the way in which I would have dealt with them, is like a quest chain where we purge the entirety of Northrend of Scourge, and then maybe have a couple of follow-up quests where players go out to the Plague Lands, Western and Eastern, and clear out some of the Scourge there. The area surrounding it, sort of looking for Scourge. I mean, that becomes a pretty interesting storyline for the future, because maybe players have missed a few Scourge, and perhaps a few Scourge generals that have sort of lain dormant and have grown their influence and power. So you could always revisit that. Having anyone take charge of the Scourge is not possible, not without the Helm of Domination. I don't see a single person that would have that power. Now, there is the opportunity for an outside storyline. The Helm of Domination was created by Zuval in our timeline. But our Helm of Domination, the one that was destroyed, isn't the only Helm of Domination, is it? There are multiple timelines, and it stands to reason that there would also be multiple Helms of Domination. So it is entirely possible for the Black not the Black Empire, the Bronze Dragonflight, to go back in time, find another Helm of Domination, and then give that Helm of Domination to Bolvar. This time around, there is no more Zuval, so Bolvar doesn't have to fight the darkness that is inside the helm. He can simply use the helm in order to control the Scourge and keep the Scourge from running amok. And again, this opens a few more storylines that you can pull from in the future. Did I miss anything in the question, Moni?
No, not really. I'd say that the first part of his question about, like, will they ever take center stage again?
All right.
If they were going to, that would have been done more in Shadowlands.
It should have been done.
They started out that way with the introduction, like, semi-zone scenario thing where you go into the Shadowlands through Ice Crown, but then after that it was quickly the DKs were quickly put to the side, and Bolvar was the only representative, really. Dude,
how cool would it have been if DKs got their very own little quest chain in the Shadowlands working with Bolvar, and Druids maybe got their very own quest line in the Shadowlands working with Cenarius or with the Winter Queen, and it was something that purely belonged to them. You know, I'm a little bit annoyed that that didn't happen, because at the end of the day, the sort of reward that I would have given DKs at the end of it would have been a collection of creatures from Maldraxxus. So if you're a DK, sort of like the Warlock Green Fire quest line. So if you're a DK and you complete all of those quest lines for Bolvar, you unlock new Maldraxxus undead that you can summon as your quote-unquote Scourge. That would have been really cool. I think DKs would have enjoyed that. Druids could have unlocked, I don't know, fucking horns like the Winter Queen or whatever. Who cares, really? But yeah, it would have been really fucking cool, in my opinion, if Blizzard did something like that. I don't think it's going to happen now, though. I don't see any reason for DKs to take center stage. It also does feel like Blizzard isn't really... Like, they've never... The only time Blizzard have ever truly excelled at telling class-based stories was in Legion with the class order rules. Prior to that, it's been very hit and miss. Like, when Blizzard does give sort of class-based... The only other time that I can think of where we got something akin to class-based storylines would have been with Legendaries back in the day, where it would be, you know, it would be a class-based storyline, mainly because a lot of the old-school Legendaries could only be wielded by certain classes. So if it was a casting one, then only caster could use it, or like the Rogue Legendary, where only Rogue could use it. And that would be, like, somewhat class-based, you know, as much as it could be, at least. But apart from that, Blizzard have never really seemed all that interested in utilizing their classes and the class stories that classes could tell. So hopefully they do that in the future, but I can't really talk about DKs in general, because I don't have that much of a clue about DKs. I'm a Warlock, and I care only about the Warlocks, really. What I know about the DKs is whatever happens with the Lich King and the Scourge and that storyline, not so much the individual storylines of DKs. I hope that answers the question. Thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate it.